Hey y'all, in today's video, we're going to talk about a 13-year-old girl named Naziah and a 41-year-old man, or male, I shall say, named Jarvis. And trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. This will make a lot of y'all stomachs churn, so if you don't like hearing about young girls taken advantage of, you got to leave out the video. Now, this 41-year-old man who gave another child, allegedly, that starts with a C, ends with an A. He also has 5 children with Naziah's aunt. He's a registered offender, and he has allegedly 12 or 13 other children. And really, he was only still being with her aunt so he can get close to Naziah. And this is not his first rodeo. He was, like I said, he's an S offender, and not even for Naziah, for 2 other young girls. And I don't think he give a damn because he keeps doing this. He was already in prison for this for 10 years, came out. Her family don't give a damn. And I'm not going to blame her mom and her dad because her mom did, which is wrong, but her mom did give up her rights. I don't think her dad was in her life either, and her dad just did pass away. Now, Naziah is 13 years old, like I said, and she was pregnant. She was about 5 months pregnant, and she went missing. And one thing I will say, and I don't blame Naziah because she was a young girl. She's 13. Like, that's very, very young. That's very young. Like, we should still have our V card at that time. But it's not her fault. It's her environment. I could just imagine what be going on in that house for her to be saying all of this stuff to this man. And like I said, it's not her fault. It's not her fault at all. This is the man's doing. But I'm just saying, I can just tell what kind of household she had. And like I said, the aunt, and that's who had custody of her, like allegedly the aunt and the grandmother or something like that. And I feel like they had to know. You had to know that this old man, first of all, was a S offender. You had to know. Because that's your baby daddy. You had 5 kids with him. You can't tell me that she ain't know. And you can't tell me that you didn't know that this 13-year-old, and you know, most 13-year-olds have slender bodies. You can't tell me that you ain't know she was pregnant. But anyway, we just gonna get into the video. And obviously, this is just a personal opinion. Nothing is to be taken seriously. I'm not the news. But we are gonna read some stuff that was said on the news.
She texted that creep saying she didn't get her period yet, and that's the last time she was ever heard from alive. A 41-year-old man has been charged with the first-degree murder of a 13-year-old girl after allegedly finding out that she was pregnant with his child. Naziah Harris was last seen in January of 2024 getting off of a school bus in Detroit when she was believed to be around 5 months pregnant. Police say this man, Jarvis Ramon Butts, got into a relationship with Naziah's aunt so that he could get to her. He has around 5 children with the victim's aunt and around 12 or 13 children total with other women. And this is after Jarvis had already spent almost 10 years in prison for the essay of 2 other girls in very similar cases. Which makes you question, why did Naziah's family let him get so close to her knowing what he had already done? He began messaging Naziah in September of 2022 with disturbing text messages that the court just revealed, and I will show in a part 2 of this video. And by November of 2023, there was sufficient evidence that Jarvis knew Naziah was pregnant. And after finding this out, he searched online for pills on drinking red antifreeze. He then said he would pick up Naziah from school, and she was never heard after that, and her body has yet to be found.
Now, as I said earlier, allegedly, her mom gave her up because of D abuse and I guess mental illness, because she was that A word that ends with a D from her parents when she was a child. So all of this is generational trauma. Like if her mom was getting her hands put on, and we don't know if it was like intimately or physically. But I do think that everybody that was in that house, I feel like they all knew. Somebody had made a point that maybe it was the aunt that did this to this young girl, and that could be true. That could be true. I don't think so, but that could be true. The only reason I don't think that's true is because I've seen this story way too many times on Fatal Attraction, where a guy, most of the time they do be young, they get a girl pregnant and they don't want the baby, and then because they going to go to college and they feel like that's gonna mess up their college, the girl don't want to get rid of the baby, and then they go unalive her and the baby. I just seen a story like that the other day. A guy unalived his baby mama. She was like 9 months pregnant, probably 8 months pregnant, but you know, shame on him because the baby was the one that made it. She didn't make it, but the baby made it. And I feel really bad for this young 13-year-old girl, because y'all about to listen to the text messages that she was sending him. You can tell that she really thought that he cared about her. And I feel like she thought that they was in a relationship. Like how she talking to him, it just seemed like she really thought they was in a relationship and that he really loved her. And he don't. He's sick.
text messages between Neziah Harris and Jarvis Butts, and you can see why they're calling him an expert groomer, but trigger warning, some of them are very hard to hear. In September of 2022, she says, "Come on, you okay? We are doing it at your choice." He says, "You tell me." She says, "Basement, you sure? Or your job? Can you please, and make sure you erase the messages?" She says, "Kay, this is what I plan to do." In June, he randomly says, "I'm at your house," and she says, "Dad, we're just there. You better not be in my room. I need another phone. I miss you." And he says, "I stole your..." In June of the following year, he says, "Send me some pictures, please." And she says, "Don't you still got the other pics?" He says, "No," and she says, "I will send some." 3 days later, he says, "Are you yet?" She said, "No, I don't want to get." "Are you mad I didn't get?" He said, "I'm used to you telling me no." She said, "Come on, bae, I'm sorry, just not in the mood right now, I'm sorry." And in September, she said, "Bae, are you up? My period haven't came at all. Hello, are you there?" He said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "It have not came." He said, "Since when?" She said, "Since I was in the hospital." He said, "That was last month." She said, "I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I have to go to the doctor's tomorrow." He said, "You said you took a pregnancy test and it was negative." She said, "It did." He said, "So go get another one." She said she doesn't have the money for one and asks him to bring a test or a plan B, and all he responds with is okay. In November, she says, "I just want to talk. I really don't want to lose you. Can we talk later, yes or no? I don't know what your problem is, but I need you to bring me what I need tonight. It's hard doing all this gym stuff with a baby, and if I don't do them, I'm gonna get an F." And finally, in January of 2024 is the final text message exchange where she says, "Don't forget to be there at 3. I will let you know when I'm leaving the school. If you're not there, I will wait. Send okay if you see the message so I can delete your number." And he says, "Okay." That's the last time this poor girl was ever heard from again, and her body has yet to be found, and he is currently standing trial for...
Now, they got to stop letting these predators out of jail, because he should still be in jail for both of those situations, but especially that 4-year-old. And his partner, King, in my personal opinion, King knew for sure. My personal opinion, though. And you could tell on the last day that she was seen and they were seen together that they was obviously fighting. I just feel bad for her, because she probably didn't know no better that you do not go meet with a man that does not want the child. You don't do that, especially alone. I don't care how old you are. You don't go meet with a man that don't want your child, because they would do anything to get rid of that baby. And another thing, we got grown adults and men, but definitely women in the comment sections blaming Neziah. Like, Neziah was a child. She wasn't no 15. This girl was 13, one age from a preteen. Like, that is nuts that people are blaming her. Yes, the messages were weird, but where did she learn this from? She got it from him. She got it from her aunt, and she was groomed. Somebody gonna ignorantly say both of them was wrong. Why should she be texting that man? Why was this grown man texting a child? Most of the time, children do they supposed to do what they told. Somebody else gonna say ignorantly, you don't know how to pull out. Like, this is the type of people that will, like, agree with what he did. Like, what? She's a fast little girl. She had no business talking to that grown man, and where was her parents, basically. Like, no, this grown man did not have no business talking to her. She ain't know no better. This is what she was taught. This is what she was groomed to do. She's not 15. She ain't 16. Matter of fact, I can even get 15 a pass. This girl was not 16. She's doing what she was told.
In the case of Neziah Harris and Jarvis Butts, and here is everything you need to know. So for context, 41-year-old Jarvis is the partner of 13-year-old Neziah's aunt, who he shares 5 children with. And he is currently on trial for taking her life after finding out that she was pregnant with his child after he had groomed her, manipulated her, and repeatedly essayed her. And this is after he was charged for essaying 2 other girls, an 8-year-old family member and a girlfriend's 4-year-old daughter, who reportedly caught from the assault. So the first thing you need to know is Jarvis owns an auto body shop with a man who goes by the name King. And on January 9th of 2024, Neziah gets off of her school bus, but instead of going home, she walks towards Jarvis's shop. Jarvis and King at this time were on their way back from picking up a part, and they see her walking, pick her up, and take her to the shop. Jarvis's sister went to the shop that day to get work done on her car and said she saw Neziah and Jarvis together multiple times. She saw Neziah getting in and out of Jarvis's truck, but didn't think much of it until she got a call from one of Jarvis's kids' mothers. The mother called to tell her about things that happened on Valentine's Day with Jarvis, and even sent her a podcast about her brother. And she said after hearing what she did, she immediately called the police. They also revealed that this picture was taken of Neziah the day she went missing. And that day, Jarvis Jarvis asked one of the mothers of his kids if he could borrow her car, and when he returned it, he left something in the back seat. That something turned out to be the glasses Naziah was wearing the day she went missing, and when the mother asked what those were, Jarvis snatched them out of her hands and said, "Those are my son's glasses." Authorities also tracked Jarvis's location the day Naziah went missing, and they found a lot of evidence. They found shoes, a pink jumpsuit, a jacket with headphones inside, and that jacket had multiple holes on the hoodie area of unknown origin.
Now, this whole story is sick because you can tell, I think I said this earlier, that she really cared for him and she really thought that's Bae. Like, she really thought that was Bae. I don't think she knew an inkling oh, this man is trying to get over on me and stuff like that. And she really cared about him, so it's really sad. And I get it because, like I said, her father just passed away, but he wasn't in her life. Allegedly, he had a whole nother family, and it ain't even told this other family that he had another child until this situation happened. And I just can't blame her because knowing that my mom gave me up, my dad isn't in my life as well. She probably was just looking for love, and she didn't really care how she would get it. So I feel for her. Shoot.
Naziah Harris and Jarvis Butts, where you can see just how much she cared for him and how little he cared for her. And trigger warning, these are very hard to listen to. These are the highlights of their conversation read aloud in court, where Naziah says, "Are we doing it tonight? I'm ready, fresh out the shower. You coming over? I don't have school. Stop messing with people and just be mine. I'm finna go to lunch. Love you. I can't stop thinking about you. Are you mad at me? Please don't be mad." His response was, "Are we doing this or not?" She says, "Didn't I make you come faster than ever? Do you ever think how I feel knowing I can't have you to myself, but you have me to yourself? And no, I'm not seeing anybody else, I swear." His response was, "I haven't seen you or talked to you." She said, "Are you going to hit it from the back again?" And he says, "Send me some pics, I want some pee." They also mentioned that she saved his contact under the name Bae for life. She later says, "I didn't sneak out for nobody, I swear. I'm not like other girls. There's no reason for me to lie to you. The meaning is you're mine and mine only. The D and all of you, you're mine and will stay mine." His response was, "I'm trying to F. Can I get my D sucked today?" She then said, "I just want your body on mine. I want to lay with you." And he says, "I'm going upstairs." And she says, "Okay, Shan is going upstairs too. Give her some so she can leave you alone. Then come downstairs so I can sit on it real quick." She then said she has an idea to do it with him and another man at the same time, and people are speculating that that man was his business partner, King. She then tells him about her period being late, and then the final message about him picking her up from school before she was never seen again.
Whew. All right, so I really hope that other man is being investigated thoroughly, because I definitely feel like he knew, especially if he was coming to the shop. And remember, she had said you want to do it at your job, so they be doing it there, and you ain't gonna tell me if y'all the only two in the shop. You ain't know. Also, for the grandmother and the aunt, if this man who is not her birth uncle and they're spending a lot of time together, you knew he was downstairs in the basement for a minute, you ain't have a thought to oh, let me go check up on him or whatever. That's very weird. You're not gonna tell me that you didn't know, and I really think it's a lot of people that need to be put in jail, especially that aunt, especially that grandmother, and that man King. Y'all need to really investigate that man. And you really got to show love, especially if you're a guy watching this. You got to really show love to your daughter, because a lot of women are easily manipulated and be desperate for love because they did not get that love from their parents, especially their dad when they was growing up. And men really got to think about that. When they leaving their daughters or abandoning their children, just period, you really got to think about the outcome of your child's life. It plays a big difference when your parent is not in your life. I thought this happened just a few weeks ago, but since she's been missing over a year now, RIP to her. At first, I was thinking maybe she was alive or something, and she still might be. But it's another story named Relisha Rutt. I think she had went missing in D.C., body never found. So I just pray for these girls. Hopefully they are alive, but it just doesn't look good. So RIP to the both of them. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn the post notification bells on, and tell me, have you heard about this story and really what you think about it. You think the grandmother knew, you think the aunt knew, you think they knew they were smashing, because I feel like they had to know that this girl was pregnant and they were smashing, because it just seemed like it probably happened way too many times. Hey guys, I created the ultimate manifestation journal. This is everything that I use to attract my dream life, everything that I use to make a full-time income online. Because before I learned about attracting and not just doing stuff just to be doing it and actually being intentional, I wasn't making money. But when I learned to attract, manifest, and turn my thoughts from negative to positive, that's when I really was able to start making money. And like I always say, it's no sense of just watching online and you're not at least being able to pay for your car payment, pay for your mortgage, daycare. Like, even if you just want to make $500 a month online, like, this is as absolutely positive with these techniques. And it's not always just about money. And the book is not all about money. The book is also helping you be able to get closer to God, helping you improve your self-esteem, helping you have self-love. It's like really like an all-in-one book. Now, I created this journal from nothing. Like I said, this is stuff that I use every single day. Every single day. I don't take just random action. Everything that I do is intentional. And I can promise you, this book is life changing. Because, like I said, it changed my life. This is everything that I use. It changed my life, literally. So if you're tired of struggling, like I said, you want to make a couple extra $500 to extra couple $1,000 every single month online, you need to get this book. If you're ready to stop like being down on yourself, having low self-esteem, you need to get this book. If you want to get a closer relationship to God, it's a lot of prompts in here. You need to get this book. They said YouTube paid Mr. Beast like $600 million last year. We just trying to get a piece of the pie. We just trying to get a piece of the pie. We just trying to make an extra couple $1,000 a month online. Like I said, it's absolutely possible. And this book is filled with nothing but gems. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, this book also has inner healing, how to heal your inner child wounds, childhood trauma. And this book is 117 pages. And I ain't gonna lie to you, you probably gonna cry after reading the whole entire book.